Oh, we made it. We are here. We are here. We are here. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to all of my YouTubers as well as you come in later throughout the day. Let's go ahead and take a nice deep breath in. Oh, a nice big exhale out. What an incredible morning. What an incredible day. It has been, if you were connecting with us at all yesterday and today, talking a little bit about the astrology. It has been some big, big, big astrology, wacky and wonky, and cracking open some incredible energy, especially as we connect to what has been happening in over the past 9 months. About to last May, I believe that tracks us to the last 9 months or so, 9, 10 months. Excuse me, there it is, activating that field, feeling back into our energetics. And what I want to have us synchronize with today are our big metas. So without further ado, I'm not going to set us up, cue us up too much with this one. I want to have us just dive in. So with that, go ahead, close your eyes, send a nice big cord of intention and consciousness up to the sun, activating your light link. And remember, your metas are the big frequencies of light, the big energies. Fruit, for example, would be a meta for apples and oranges and grapes and bananas, right? So when we are working a meta in an energy field, we are looking for the code, we are looking for the energy. And energy rolls through our body, rolls through our system in different ways. We experience it as emotion, we experience it as heat, as the elements. We experience it in all ways and in all dimensions because we are ultimately energetic beings. We are electromagnetic beings with these incredible currents of energy. So as we do our light link today, I want to have you imagine, call in the sun. And as you imagine the sun is the meta for our identity, for we think of it as the divine father, the divine masculine. It is the meta for our identity. Licking your lips, relaxing your jaw, imagining stepping out into the sun for the first time today. Lick your lips, roll the neck. Nice deep breath in, roll the shoulders. Neck from side to side. You've got it. And just imagine feeling that sun. I want to have you envision just staring straight into the sun and then feeling through your breath nature come to life around you. We don't just stare at the sun, right? What starts to engage the moment we imagine the sun? We feel things around us because the sun voids out our external vision. You can't look at the sun and see anything but the sun. So instantly it engages our extra peripheral, our inner vision. So what comes to life for you? For me, it's nature, the trees around me, the grass beneath my feet, the sound of the wind, the sound of birds, maybe the sound of rivers or water running. Maybe for you, the sound of the ocean. Turn the volume up as you engage the sun. Remember, I said the sun is the meta for our identity, and what does it do? It instantly turns on our what? Our intuition, that inner voice. And if our inner voice is on, it helps us connect with what? Our faith. And so, looking at the sun, that beautiful golden light, that link of connection, and here one simple, simple meta, connecting to one simple flame of golden light. We get to open our arms to it and take it in feeling ourselves expanding to its light, to its power. And now, in many cultures, we give this sun a name. We call it what? The Heavenly Father, Father Sky in other cultures, right? Just hold this field for a moment and notice how the moment also was held with the light of the sun when we feel the birds and nature and the wind. That is the Divine Mother intuitively, that imprint. All of these are metas imprinted upon us, codes that you inherently know, woven within your consciousness, remembered collectively as well as individually, self-identified within you. Go ahead, lick your lips, relax your jaw. Nice deep breath in here. So light link is always connecting through the sun and then through the earth. So I want to have you just wiggle those toes in, really bring yourself into the body, through the feet. We've already kind of activated the second part of the light link just through our breath and the conversation we've had so far. I want to have you come into your heart. As you bring your hands to your heart, just feeling all of this energy activate and engage as we start to work our way towards our next metas. And so, what brings us here today in this need for remembering the metas is that there's a lot as light beings, as light workers, whether this is your first time here with me today or many times over again. Sometimes we get out in the world and um, we get distracted, or maybe that's not the right way to say it. We not so much distracted, but you have to set down the work you're up to, right? Because we have families, and or we get tied up with our business and we have to, um, get busy with, if you're busy in one area, you have to, you don't have time to focus on certain things, and you really have to move into the other area. And for me recently, I really needed to focus in on some family issues, which meant stepping away from my activities with work issues for a couple days, and that's totally okay. But it allowed me to take a look at, in having stepped away from the ways I was holding this field and connecting to the work in the ways I connect with all of you and my rituals and routines and patterns. It was kind of like I had a new door to come back into it from, right? And it was like, oh, am I going to come in through the same door? Am I going to pick up in the same meditation, and so on and so forth? And it also made me realize these different metas never really left, right? Like it never really goes away, that it's always here. And I know we know this. And so I want to take you in to the experience I had of picking all of it back up. That was what the experience I had, was just remembering the metas, because it never really leaves us. The work never really leaves us. It's more so just, how do we pick it back up? How do we remember? So much like the sun today was a meta. We've done that light link, if you've been with me, thousands of times at this point. And yet we get to think about all of these things in new ways, in new shapes, in new forms. So here we go, off for a new adventure. I'm not quite sure what this is going to look like, but again, I just wanted to bring us in through a new door, and hopefully it shows you some new things about what you've been up to in your practices, and also maybe gives you inspiration if you're new to this space for some new ideas for understanding how you're connecting. So taking a nice deep breath in, I want to have you think about the rainbow. Think about a rainbow up in the sky, hovering over the top of your head. Maybe as you're driving down the interstate or out for a hike on a beautiful day. And think about the cloud that created that rainbow. And as you gaze at that cloud, and as you look for where the sun is that created that rainbow, and you think about the sun that represents that collective consciousness of creation of the Divine Father that creates that imprint. I want you to feel that energy of the rainbow and the sun shining through that's creating it as it passes through the raindrops. And just think about those relationships for a moment. The sun, the clouds, the raindrops, and the rainbow. And you observing. And then take a step back and notice the green grass below or the trees. And maybe beyond the cloud, the blue sky. And take a step further back and let yourself feel the sun becoming brighter and brighter, and the earth becoming smaller and smaller, more like the rainbow being captured in it, as though the earth is almost becoming the rainbow, right? Like there's an arc of rainbow between the earth and the sun. Less physical and just more bodies of light that are getting to morph all around. Just take a couple moments here to let yourself just breathe all of this energy in. And then I want you to think about a being, about an angel, about Jesus, about Enki, about Metatron, about any of the beings that you pray to, about that you call upon, maybe about Magdalene or Mother Mary. It's quite a cast or host. Isis, Sophia, all these big names. And what if each of them were colors in the rainbow? Seems like they might not all fit. But what if in some way we could organize them into less about them being actual people, but rays of light, like flames or bodies of energy that get woven into a fabric. Much like the colors in the rainbow get woven into that beautiful arc of light that we envision in the sky. And so the way I'm seeing them is like just these bodies of light encircling us now. In that circle, each one, you don't necessarily need to know the colors that they're holding, but each one begins to circle, stand in circle, representing a different color around us. And that circle begins to spin. And as it spins, it takes on a different form, takes on more of a vortex type of energy, like a swirling type of energy, like a mix, each color distinct within the mix, but each color also blended, so that as we are within the mix, we could extract, as we call upon it, a certain color, like the golden light of the divine father, or like the violet flame of the ascended masters, or like the midnight blue of the Magdalene or the Sophia or Isis, or really any of the divine feminine. Right? Like we could call upon any of these colors as we wish, as needed, but then it would go back to being part of this rainbow, this fabric that's woven within the consciousness of our unique being. And so it's like we're part of it, it's within us, but it's also not. It's separate, but it's not. I want to have you breathe here and feel yourself walking through this vortex as though it's not a vortex necessarily. Like it looks like a lake of frequency, like a field of frequency. That's what I want to say. That's all rainbow colors. And you're moving across it. And each of these beings has gifted you their light. And as you need it, you can call the meta of that light forward and they appear, and then it's released. And so the field is always held. It's not about you holding the field because it's always a part of you. You never leave it. And so my question to you is, as you navigate your daily reality, what do you choose to do with it? What's next? Because it's never really gone. It's never left us. I came out of this weekend feeling like, oh my gosh, how do I boot this up? How do I hold it? How do I, you know, bring my family together in conjunction with all of these incredible things I have going on? I knew in my heart of hearts, none of it was separate. I know in my heart of hearts, none of it was separate. And yet, how do we make the room for it all and make sure that we're all cocooned within this incredible, brilliant space, that we're all provided for, that the next project, that the next activity is in alignment, is hitting the mark, is on the path, is birthing the ontology that is seer, seeking to be born. This feels like a field of divine, not only evolution, but involution. And so there's a new way being called forward, calling all of us out into a space and place that goes beyond what feels comfortable or what was, and into new dynamics that is exciting, that is purposeful. And so the key here is to remember our metas. Not only what are we about, but how can we continue to bring it into partnership with this frequency? For being in partnership with the spirit, with divine, with the masters, with the beings of light, no matter what names we place upon them, truly is about our capacity to carry frequency of all dimensions, to harness a frequency of, you know, Jesus, Mary Magdalene, uh, Enki, Isis, you name it, all different beings, whether they walked in human form or light being form, all were beings who were simply able to harness a greater capacity of multidimensional consciousness, meaning they carried an incredible capacity for harnessing light. They were just holding this incredible frequency of light, of multidimensional awareness and consciousness, streaming it, focalizing it into one point. It wasn't about anything other than that. And then able to articulate and language it for the purpose of love. As humans, we forget that it's as simple as that. It's as simple as just constantly reorienting to what is the greatest meta in any given moment that we can bring to the situation. What is the meta? What is the most relevant meta I can connect to in this moment? And how can I see and observe and connect to and feel and process that? And how can I help others identify and see and connect to and feel and process that meta and wake up that meta inside of themselves? That they too, those people around me, those communities and villages, can also bring to and through greater capacities for light. If we could all just start focusing on the metas, we're going to be having very different conversations than the conversations at hand currently. If we're truly here to function as light beings, we're focusing on the metas and we're identifying how to harmonize and balance and create coherence with the metas oriented in light. It's a very simple equation. As humans, we just need to get out of our own way because we have immense capacity for it. Actually, we have greater capacity than most of the names that I just mentioned. And so, with that, we get to join with Enki, with the Christed ones, with Isis, with Ninma, with the Metatron, with Mary, with Jesus, with, I could go on, Sophia, with Lakshmi, with Shiva, with the Kali, with uh, who else? With Durga, you name it. I could keep going and going and going. I'm thinking of, there's so many here. With Ganesha. So many that are, I'm looking at my altar here, that have been gifted and brought to me, and so many blessings. So many blessings. Archangel Michael. So many different names. All of these are metas. Each of these beings are not just individuals or saints. They are just simply aspects of frequencies that harness a certain aspect of a frequency that has been meta'd in a certain way, right? Like the golden light, the divine father. It is a frequency that has a qualifying nature of identity. The divine mother, a frequency that has a qualifying nature of nurturing in that way when we think of it in that context, right? Those are metas for the frequency, and we explain it in that way. All of these names have taken on and harnessed light and frequency in a certain way. If we embody and hold their attributes, their names, and we look at their lineage and their history, they have just mastered these names, and these masters have harnessed it and brought through for the human consciousness in a certain way. That's what makes them masters. That's what makes them gods. That's what makes them the beings that they are. That's what's made them enduring and imprinted in the human construct and consciousness. The same thing with the gods, the Greek gods. They are masters, they are archetypes. That's what's given them the power to imprint the human consciousness and code the consciousness at a certain level. You have the power to impact and harness that coding as well. So find the meta of the frequency, find the light. What does it mean for you? Make it your own. In any given moment, just remember what means the most for you. Call on the metas, call on Lakshmi, call on whomever to turn it on, harness it. That's what it's there for. It's like a light switch. Think about the sun when you're having a hard moment. Build the infrastructure. Enki is an architect, right? If you need some warrior consciousness, call on Durga, right? Like that's what these energies are about. That's what these archetypes are about. Meta the frequencies. Remember that this lives within you to channel this light in such big ways, to weed out the viruses within our systems. Find light where the darkness lives. There's no need for doubt. You have the capacity to hold it all. We are so much more capable than you could ever imagine. With that, namaste. So much love. I will see you all next week.